Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR My Career mode here on the channel. I hope you all having a great day. It's been a few weeks since we've had this series rolling. I was in the middle of moving and I had to really prioritize the videos that were a little bit easier to make, like NASCAR 25 and the green screen videos as well. But now we are settled in and we can focus in on the continuation of this career mode here. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are at Dover, Delaware here. This is going to be a fun race. I love this racetrack. And we're coming off of Tony Stewart, the defending champion, finally picking up his first win of this 2003 season. Now, of course, you guys know if you are a Go and Pit crew member, you also are a part of this lore in this career mode, and we have had several winners so far in this series, from Lexpert, who is the only multi-time winner so far in this series, Telcontar, Trey K, The Yapper, Mike Bowman, Primal Spartan, Zenith, Fuller Bayer, Rick Sierra, all picking up wins with their teams that they are on. So shout out to you guys, but we have a lot of people that are still seeking their first win part of this series. But just want to say thank you to you guys for continuing to support and also be part of the lore of this series. Now, as we had a pretty competitive practice session here, actually my fastest lap, surprisingly, was the final lap that I ran here in practice. So as we come through into some qualifying now with a goal of a 23.869, I was confident that we could be right up there against that goal time here as we exit turn 2, right up against the outside wall right there. You want to get as close as you can as you head down now into turn number 3, missing the bottom a little bit. So I knew this was going to cost us as I had to really lift on the exit of turn 4, and that's going to kind of eat away some lap time, and we are going to be about a tenth of a second off, but that puts us P25 for the Dryden 400 here from Dover. So a little bit of work to do to go forward here today. Now, as we'll take a look at the rest of your qualifying order. Who's on pole position? Matt Kenseth again, the most poles of the season to that 17 car, who's still winless on the season. Elliott Sadler is well qualified P2. Jeff Gordon's up there in the top 5, looking to continue to work on getting the season back on track. Things have just continuously gone wrong for that number 24 DuPont Chevrolet team, and could today be the day where they turn things around? Dover's been a relatively solid track for Jeff Gordon as we get ready to go racing on Sunday afternoon. You see there Michael Waltrip, engine change after qualifying. He'll be sent to the back in that DEI number 15, and Kyle Petty failed technical inspection. He will also be sent to the back of the field as we get ready for some Winston Cup Series action here from Dover Motor Speedway now, and hopeful that we can have a nice, kind of top 15, top 20 at least run. We expect, like I said, in this kind of midsection of the season for reality to kind of set in a little bit now as we get ready to go racing. Here we go. Green flag is out. We're on our way from now. P24, Matt Kenseth and Elliott Sadler lead over Newman, Gordon, and the rest of the field. Into turn number 1 we go, and a bit of a stack up we saw into turn 1. You see some separation there up towards the front. Not quite sure what went down, but obviously that bit of an awkward moment as we continue in behind the number 9 of Bill Elliott. Can MJ Seals, the crew chief with that number 9, get that team back on track now, as they of course had such a strong start earlier on in the season, and they've kind of faded as of late now as we head down into turn 1 to complete this opening lap of 140 laps here from Dover. 3 wide in front of us there. You got Nadu, Kurt Busch, and the 32 of Ricky Craven as well, the Daytona 500 winner from earlier on in this season. Now, as we've got the number 25 of Joe Nemechek there just behind myself, hearing rumors that we might know who's going to be in that car next season, as he's going to go to my inside. That 25 looking very strong right off the bat now, and he's going to go through. But there's been some rumors of some drivers potentially hopping in that 25 car next season that include Mike Bliss. Brendan Gaughan is a name that's come up as well as a potential candidate for that number 25, of course, with Nemechek being fired already for the end of this season. At least Hendrick Motorsports had the dignity to give him, the majority of the season to try and find a future in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Now, as you see, Dave Blaney is able to get past me, and we are struggling in these opening laps. There goes Michael Waltrip, who started at the back of the field, and just 4 laps in, he's up into the top 26, showing some good speed in that number 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. And he would continue to work his way forward. And I was actually starting to go forward as well, to the inside, passing Kurt Busch, who's had a pretty up and down season. Roush has had a pretty up and down season as a whole. I think the 99 of Jeff Burton has probably been the standout. Of course, he has been the most successful at that team. He's won a couple of races now, as Kevin Harvick now takes the lead actually from Matt Kenseth, as Kenny Wallace was able to get to my inside and pass us as I was working on passing Ward Burton here in this number 22. The 88 of Dale Jarrett just behind us as well, showing some good speed as we continue on here. Not even 10 laps in, I felt like we've done a lot of opening kind of action here in this race now, with still 132 laps to go off turn 2. Crash, that's Mark Martin for Roush into the inside wall, cautions out, and he is still going to be in this race, I can confirm. Everybody would stay out here except for the bottom 2 drivers, and we would get ready immediately to go back racing. So Kevin Harvick leads the field back to the green flag as we get underway from lap 12 approaching lap 13, and like I said, the bottom 2 drivers, also including Mark Martin, I should mention, Mark Martin also pitted, so 3 drivers total pitted. I believe one of the bottom 2 was Kyle Petty that came into the pit, so we'll see how that works itself out now, but everybody out, so basically 37 cars did not pit, therefore we are going to have to pit a little bit earlier than 38th through 40th now, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. And the motto that we've kind of lived by in this career mode so far is kind of do what the majority do. If the majority of the field stays out, stay out. If the majority of the field pits, pit. At least when you're in the early to mid part of the race. Now, when you're coming up into the later part of the race, it's, you know, it's a free-for-all at that point. But we have learned that just kind of sticking with the majority has usually, not always, but usually been the way to go, as we actually got door slammed by the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield. Kyle Petty's going to go through on some fresher tires now, and we have to be careful with how we race people, because I didn't mention it at the start of the episode, but NASCAR actually announced at the beginning of this week that we are, in fact, after another incident in Charlotte, we are in fact on a 3-race probation. So we are on probation for the next 3 races, which include today in Dover, then we go to Pocono in the next episode, and then Michigan. So if we take out anybody, NASCAR, Mike Helton specifically sat us down and said, if you wreck anybody in these next 3 races, you're going to be sitting out for a race. So that is going to be something that is kind of in the back of my mind, as we have been gaining a reputation early on in our rookie season as a bit of a over-aggressive, reckless driver now, as pit stops have kicked off at this point now, and we're going to come in here at the end of lap 29, and Mark Martin's going to cycle out to the lead of this race. So we're going to make some adjustments, because I was getting pretty loose at the end of that run, and you kind of saw I was kind of fading. So we made some wedge adjustments, even a grill tape adjustment, and left side tire pressure adjustments. So we're making a lot of changes on this number 21 car. Also had a little bit of damage there on the right side of the car from a wall hit earlier, so that's also an extra second of repairs. So it's going to be a 16.4 second pit stop as we'll return back into the racing action now, and obviously at this point we have to hope it stays green for at least another 10 laps, because of those 3 drivers that pitted under that last yellow. They're going to be able to, of course, stay out a little bit longer. So if a caution comes out, we're in big trouble at that point, because we're not 1 lap down. No, you lose 2 laps pitting under green here in Dover. So even if we get a caution now, the front 3 would probably pit. We would all stay out, but we would still be a lap down, and that would essentially mean that our race is ruined. So we don't want that in the first 40 laps of racing here from Dover. Now is 107 laps to go at this point, and my adjustments that I had made, immediately I felt the improvements in this car, and you can see the improvements visually, because here we are running down the 77, the 42, the 19, the 23, all these guys, as well as Mark Martin is now pitting from the lead. So we've held on long enough, and he's going to come in, and this will allow us to cycle on to this lead lap. And here comes Dale Jr. I say lead lap, but Dale Jr. is the net leader right now, and he's going to pass us into turn number 1. So now we actually are still going to be a lap down, because Dale Jr. has come around to pass us, unfortunately, as we continue battling with Dave Blaney and Mick Murray. And Blaney's not making making life easy on me right here. We're going to be 3 wide, and I have to really lift. Actually, a bit of contact right there out of turn 2. He gets sideways. Thank goodness he saved it now. But as we continue to lap 40, here comes now P2 of Jeff Gordon. As all the pit stops have completed, Dale Jr. is officially out in front. And I've got Jeff Gordon here to the inside in P2. This is the day Jeff Gordon needs right here in P2. Having a nice little bounce back in that number 24 DuPont Chevrolet. As you can see, though, for us now, hold on, we got trouble. Big impact there on the outside. Sadler and others involved. And that was a heavy, very heavy hit now. Kyle Petty's going to be the free pass, and immediately you see some split strategy. Oh boy, this is going to change a lot in this race now. Some lead lap drivers staying out while the majority pits. Replay around Sadler goes, who started up towards the front, and oh my goodness, what a vicious impact right there. McMurray involved as well. Matt Kenseth gets a piece of it. We elect to come into the pits here. I wanted to be on the side of caution of being able to run longer in case the caution comes out during the pit cycle. So we stay out, or sorry, we pit as the majority stay out. And as we return to racing, it's Robbie Gordon and Rusty Wallace that lead the field into turn number 1, and Mark Martin as well. The 3 drivers that remained on the racetrack there did not pit, of course, as we head down this back straightaway. So now, obviously, we're racing for a free pass position, and we have to pass quite a few cars to get there. But I wanted fresh tires to make things a little bit easier for me. Mark Martin has actually taken the lead of this race on this opening lap since the restart, but I don't expect it to last long. You would think Matt Kenseth is going to be back up there. Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, sure enough, Kenseth to the lead. Matt Kenseth looking very strong today, trying to pass his teammate of Mark Martin, and he would be successful as we continue to work our way forward. Not as quick as I had planned or had hoped, but we are still making some progress now as we'll pass the 49 of Schrader up into P27 behind Greg Biffle as well, as we're just kind of clicking off these laps and clicking off these positions now. Passing the 1 of Steve Park, actually got into the back of Biffle a little bit right there, but we're all good, so we'll pass him for P26. Still some work to do to get into a free pass position. I think 21st, I think it was, or 22nd is a free pass position right now, as we'll pass fellow Rookie of the Year competitor of McMurray, and not long after we'll pass Kenny Wallace, who of course was involved in that recent caution, as we got a new leader. Ryan Newman in the number 12 out in front here in Dover. Now another driver winless on the season that we expect to see get to victory lane sometime soon here now, as we've settled into 23rd, trying to run down the guy in the free pass, Dave Blaney, but the caution comes out, and it's Jeff Gordon, smoke pouring out of the hood of the number 24, and Jeff Gordon's bad season just got worse. Now there is a positive, as you see some more split strategy. I have elected again. I don't want to be off the majority, so we're going to pit. We're going to get tires, and we're going to get fuel. But Jeff Gordon is going to remain in this race. Kevin Harvick at some point had a mechanical issue, and he's actually out of this race at this point in that number 29. That's a big hit to a driver that's in the championship mix here as we return to the racing action, and Jeff Gordon has that engine issue, but you can see him. He's up there in front of us in that number 24. So it's not day over for the 24 team, and they are still on the lead lap, so they can work their way back to the front. We know that 24 is fast. So, hopefully this is the end of the bad luck on the day for Jeff Gordon, and I'm sure if something else goes wrong, he's going to absolutely lose his mind here now as we continue on with 82 laps to go at this point in Dover now, and Ryan Newman continues to lead the way now, as I'm going to be 3 wide on the exit of turn 2, but a contact there with the 42 is so easy to push up off the exit of the corner and to the side of somebody here in Dover, and now we're all coming together in turn 3, and we're going in the complete wrong direction. Down to P35 now, trying to race for the free pass, which is now for 23rd, and unfortunately, in a call to get tires, should have been moving us forward, has moved us backwards instead. We would drop all the way to 37th, and eventually getting down to the inside line with less than 100 laps to go in this race, leaning on the back of Jack Sprague, who is still in that 0 car after that violent crash in Charlotte. Fortunately, Jack Sprague was in shape to return this weekend here from Dover now as we continue on, and we had started working our way back forward one more time, and at this point I'm like, yeah, I don't feel confident about my chances to get the free pass simply because of that fumbled restart now, and obviously it all comes down to timing of cautions. You don't know when these cautions are going to come, so I'm hoping that it's going to take a little bit longer if we do get one here, so we can get ourselves up through this field and into a free pass position. And as we continue on to lap 67 at this point now, into the outside wall, and that is Jamie McMurray bringing out a caution, and well, there you have it. Again, no free pass. It goes to Kenny Wallace in 23rd, so now it's 24th that we're racing for. And again, some split strategy on the lead lap. Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace all staying out. The reason for caution was that guy right there, Ricky Craven, blowing it right front out of turn 2. Caution comes out. I decide, again, I just, the majority of cars are pitting, and I'm just trying to stay with that majority and come into the pits here. So again, we drop back down to 31st place, and at this point, I'm like, okay, clearly it's a risky call to pit because it has bit us 2 times now in the free pass fight. So will it happen a 3rd time, or will we get a run long enough this time for me to get up into now 24th, as we are right on the back of Casey Mears in that target number 41 Dodge. Now into turn 3 we go, trying to get down to the inside, couldn't quite make it happen. Here comes Jack Sprague to my inside. Mark Martin continues to lead now out of turn 4 down the front straightaway now, as we'll go to the outside of the 41. I think we're 3 wide. We are 3 wide into turn number 1. We have to race way up the racetrack, and unfortunately for me, well, that was detrimental as we lose some time right there as we continue to fight to the inside, and eventually we do get there behind the number 22 of Ward Burton. We're past the halfway point of this race now in Dover, and really, I mean, the last, 20, 30 laps basically, it has felt like we're just racing for the free pass position, and that's just how it goes sometimes. But now we run in P30, so again, another restart that just didn't quite go our way. We really need to be restarting on the inside if we're going to take tires, but now we're starting to chip our way back forward, but I'm just hoping again that it stays green long enough to where we don't see, of course, us lose out on the free pass. And we had now moved up into P27. We still need to pass 3 cars just to get to a free pass position, including John Andretti as well as Elliott Sadler just up in front. And we were running these guys down as we've gotten to the back of Andretti. Jimmy Johnson now out in front of this race here now as we approach lap 80. Well, we're already on lap 80, I guess, for the leaders, but approaching lap 80 for ourselves. But as we roll through 3, behind us around goes Jack Sprague into the outside wall. Caution. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Okay, we got to do something different at this point. Jeremy Mayfield gets a free pass. I was originally going to pit, and then I canceled. I said, you know what? This has not been working. We're going to stay out, and we'll restart P27 behind Andretti and Sadler. So as we get ready to go back racing, now we know we just got to pass these 2 cars to get into a free pass spot. And obviously I feel like my luck is going to be, we saw some drivers on the lead lap pit. We saw a bunch stay out. We saw the same situation for drivers that were not on the lead lap. So my luck is we're going to get into a free pass position, but then it'll stay green to the point where I have to pit, and then like during myself pitting, a caution will come up for the guys that stayed out or pitted under that last yellow, and then we'll lose out even more. That's what I was kind of expecting at this point, but I said, you know what? That's 3 consecutive times where we have tried to get the fresh tire advantage to carry us to a free pass, and it just hasn't worked out. So you can't have something fail 3 times and then do it for a 4th time and think it's going to work, right? So you got to do something different. And as we are now racing John Andretti here for a free pass position as we exit turn 4 side by side now with that number 43. Whoever has this spot is in the free pass position through turns 1 and 2. Do we clear him? Not quite. He still fights back. Now clear on the exit of turn 2. We are now in the free pass spot here. Now I'm begging with 50 laps to go. Caution, please come out. As now Elliott Sadler is trying to run me down for that free pass spot. This is not going to come easy. Look at the rest of the field in front of us, all the lead lap cars. They've completely driven away outside of the 45 of Kyle Petty that we just passed, as Matt Kenseth is back out in front one more time, as now Elliott Sadler appears to have a bit more speed than I do as these laps are going on, but I know a caution could come out at any second, so I'm going to make things really difficult on this 38 of Elliott Sadler. I'm really just going to drive, as defensive as I really can at this point now, as we come to lap 95, kind of chopped his nose right there, saying, I'm sorry, I don't want to block you like I am, but we're racing for the free pass at this point, which could completely change our race. Now Sadler jumps up to the outside, trying to roll some momentum off the corner, and as we come through to lap 96, approaching 97, you can see he's now caught up with the 45. Caution is out. Free pass to this number 21. That's why we raced as hard as we did. We only had 2 laps of fuel, by the way. We're going to pit for tires and field. Rusty Wallace, I thought, was the reason for the caution. Not the case. He is just, for some reason, elected not to pit here as we get ready for another restart on this race now. But finally, we're back on the lead lap as we're making some more adjustments to the car. Reason I made some adjustments right there, you saw that I was struggling to hold off the 38 as those laps were going on. The car was starting to free back up again, so that's something I was very aware of. Is look at all the cars in the pits. We've got so many cars out of this race as we've only got less now than 40 laps to go, 39 to be exact, and Rusty Wallace leads the field off in through turn 1 and out of turn 2, heading down that bank straightaway. We know he's going to be slow. I really don't understand the idea behind the 2 cars staying out. It really does not make any sense, and sure enough, Matt Kenseth is going to rip around the outside of him. So for us, the job is simple. When you get the free pass, you have to start at the tail end of the longest line. Therefore, we have to pass all these lap down cars before we're even passing anybody for position. So this next, 10 laps or so is just going to be about passing these lap down cars that we were, just in the same group as a few minutes ago. But fortunately, we grinded this race out enough to get ourselves in the final 40 laps back onto the lead lap. So unfortunately, of course, 40 laps is not a lot of time at Dover. It doesn't give us a lot of time to cook, but 1 caution is all we need for us to, of course, leapfrog all these lap cars and be back on the lead lap, or, well, we're already on the lead lap, but be back with those lead lap cars as Jimmy Johnson has retaken the lead. But over these next few laps, we continued to work our way forward, passing the likes of the 4 of Mike Skinner, and now we had passed Ward Burton and gotten up to a now 24th position, number 45 of Kyle Petty, as we got another car in the pit lane with an engine issue. That, I believe, was the one of Steve Park now, as we passed him right there down the front straightaway now. And here we go for a position on Kyle Petty, who's not going to make my life easy here. He's doing a really good job, actually. But as we exit turn 4, I kind of chop his nose a little bit there and clear him with 31 laps to go as Jimmy Johnson trying to set sail. Hard to believe Jimmy Johnson's only got 1 win this season. He has had a very strong season, of course, is right now, as it stands, a favorite for the championship. As I say that, however, very important to keep in mind the likes of Harvick and Stewart, as well as Matt Kenseth. They have been so consistent. And of course, all those guys have won except for Matt Kenseth. Into the outside wall, tire down, Jeff Gordon again, and this time it's going to be race over for the number 24. As you can imagine, Jeff Gordon not happy over the radio, coming back to the garage saying, "This isn't working. We need a change right now," and we'll have to wait and see what that is going to equate to. But obviously things aren't working for this 24 team. I mean, the tire issue, that's really not in anyone's control. But of course, we saw an engine issue in that number 24 as well. I feel so bad watching my favorite driver of all time having like the worst season of his career at this point in like 2003, of course. I'm certain maybe Tel Contar tanked his ratings or something. I'm kidding, of course he wouldn't do that. But as we continue on our race now, it sucks for Jeff Gordon, but we got our own situation to focus on, and we got some new life here. Dale Jr. out in front, by the way, here with less than 20 laps to go here from Dover. It's been a caution-filled race. We had one lengthy run earlier in the race, of course, but that was really it. And now we're down in 23rd, or I should say up to 23rd. As I can see up front, though, Ryan Newman has gotten to the inside of Dale Jr. That could be the race for the win if this wants to go green to the end, and Ryan Newman would take over the lead. We talked about it earlier, winless on the season in that number 12. Could today be the day where Ryan Newman gets to victory lane? That would be one big win for that number 12 team. I think a very much just kind of one of those really, really needed wins for Ryan Newman. Of course, one win in his Cup Series career so far. Looking for win number 2 here as we continue on behind this 45 of Kyle Petty now, and as well as we've broken in now to the top 20 here, passing Dave Blaney to the inside. If we can pass Michael Waltrip here to the inside, this will be P19. What a comeback this has been. We haven't really had a lot of speed all weekend. We qualified 25th, and you saw we had struggled with the handling really early on in the race, and that was a big setback, and we just continued to grind it out, and we finally got ourselves into position to get the free pass. And now here we are working our way into P19 in these closing laps of this race in Dover, passing Michael Waltrip, who continues to try and fight back on my right rear, but we'll get the run off the corner. We'll clear that number 15, and within these final 10 laps at this point, now we got some more problems. I just gained a spot. That's because the 31 of Robbie Gordon, an engine issue there. The 31's coming into the pits. It's going to be another DNF on the day. Look at the pit lane. Look how many cars are in the pits right there. That's like 5 or 6 cars already out of this race. And as that happens, though, Michael Waltrip to my inside. So just as quick as we gain a spot, we drop another down to P19 at this point, coming to 7 laps to go in this race here from Dover. Now, can we hold on to P19? It's going to be hard because I was starting to fade in these final couple of laps, and Dave Blaney has run me down as Ryan Newman has just 2 more laps to go. It looks like he's in control as he's starting to work his way into some lap traffic as well. And as we exit turn 2, turn 4, front straightaway, Ryan Newman takes the white flag here from Dover now as we are continuing to hold off the 77 of Dave Blaney, looking in control for P19, which, I mean, isn't great, but this is exactly where this car is expected to run, in my opinion. So we're doing what we're expected to as Ryan Newman off of turn 4, career win number 2. He wins in Dover over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matt Kenseth will bring it home in third over Jimmy Johnson. Is that Joe Nemechek in the top 5? How about that as we roll through 3 and off of turn 4, a rebound drive sees us in P19, and that was a really productive day. And honestly, I think that was maybe the best race I've run so far in my career. Not position wise, of course, but just the fact that we stuck with it, we stayed patient, and it really paid off. How about Tony Raines and Todd Bodine both up there in the top 15? Some great runs for them as well. You'll see, of course, it's 34th on down DNF. It's not often you see that many DNFs in this game. Now, as Jimmy Johnson's lead now back up to 5 points over Tony Stewart. He's back out on top. Matt Kenseth a little ways back, and Dale Jr., Jeff Burton, all the top 5. Jeff Gordon has dropped to 16th in the standings at this point in a disaster season it's been. And we know there could be some changes on the way for that 2014 that I'm sure we'll hear about next episode. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.
Met the wrong one.